Hey guys, Troy again here today, and my lighting's a little different because the light that I'd been using died, so I'm using something different, so it'll be a little different looking. But I wanted to talk today about inexpensive pens. And when you think inexpensive, maybe you're thinking cheap plastic, and you'd probably be right. Chinese? Yeah, you'd be right there too. And wanted to talk about some of those, but let's look at some pens that are not on the high end. I mean, I've been talking a lot of higher end pens here lately because I've been getting some. As a matter of fact, any minute now, the mailman should be at my mailbox with a fairly expensive pen. But you look at some of the plastic pens that have come out over the past several years. You got the Pilot Plumix, which is not a bad pen. It's not, it's fairly decent, and it's kind of a staple for a lot of people on the lower end of fountain pens. Jinhao is a name that really comes to mind, and it either is loved or hated amongst a lot of folks. This is the Jinhao Shark. Yeah, I got little kids, so I wanted to start singing Baby Shark, do 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 do. But this one is, my wife's pen. I dug out of her pen case because I thought I had one that I held on to, but apparently I gave away all of my Shark pens. I mean, this is a nice little novelty pen. I've given away lots of these to kids. The kids that I work with at our church for Christmas gifts. And, it is cheap plastic, and quite honestly, some of the kids broke them real quickly. And like, sorry kid, I don't have another one to give you. I only bought so many of them. So this is one that's actually a decent writer depending upon which nib that you get with them. And I found that these actually work better with converter than they do with cartridges for some stupid reason. So, but that's not the pen I wanted to talk about today. Lately, the Jinhao 995, the Swan, you can see this a little different. Instead of the shark, you've got a nice swan looking back over its body. These were given, these two right here, were given to my son Matthew. And we've been meaning to record a video because one of our viewers very nicely gave him 5 pens and some ink. And a video will probably be forthcoming still because Matthew is asking about it. We've just had absolutely no time to do it together. But I've got a break in the action for my lunch break today. So, but I wanted to share where we've got these two. Now, one of the things about Jinhao that I'm going to say is you can get a fairly decent pen at a decent price. These right now are going for 99 cents, including shipping from China. 99 cents. And for that, you'll get a pen, you'll get a fine Jinhao nib, and along with it, you'll get a converter. So, for 99 cents, I mean, that's hard to argue. So, that's what I wanted to talk about, is this particular pen. We filled the red pen with Birmingham Pens Fred Rogers Cardigan Red. And I filled this one with Thornton's Luxury Blue. I kind of like that Thornton's ink. I gave it a try and said, what the heck, and I don't like Thornton's inexpensive disposable fountain pens, but I do like their inks. So I got these two here to show you today. One of the things about Jinhao is they don't always put their model number on it, so I had to look it up. So it is a 995. It is a fairly cheap plastic. It's not constructed in, very durably. So if you're going to give something like this to children, expect that they're going to break them sometime soon and that you'll have to replace them. But one of the things I like about it, though, is this pen actually writes very, very well. I was using it this morning at work, believe it or not. It was sitting here on my desk since I inked it up, and we left it on my desk so that we could do our video. And I said, well, as long as I'm going to be writing, let me give you an example. This is what I was using yesterday and was still on my desk. Visconti Homo Sapiens. These pens go for upwards of $700. I picked up a 99-cent pen and was using that today. So fountain pen collecting does not have to be expensive. And this pen writes great. This pen writes fantastically well. One of the things, if you've got a good pen with a good nib, that's important. It's not how much you spend on the pen. I've got pens I spend a lot of money on and they write horribly. This writes better than a lot of my very expensive pens for which I paid hundreds of dollars. And then again, I've got pens I've paid that much for that write better than this. But this is actually a pretty doggone good writing pen for just 99 cents. I can't complain about it. So let me show you a little bit here in case you're interested. And I'll put up some statistics on the Jinhao Swan. And I'll throw some close-up pictures throughout the course of this video of the nib and some of the markings that are on the pen. And I'll show you the difference between the two. And that's part of the problem I do have with Jinhao is both of these pens have got the exact same number 5 Jinhao steel nib, but they don't write very closely. Actually, they're very different. I know every pen tends to have its own personality at times, but I can tell you these two pens, just being different colors, same materials, same factory, actually write differently. So we'll show you that here in a second. Alright, I'm back, and here I have the two Jinhao 995 Swan pens. And you've got the nice little taper down on that barrel. You've got that triangular grip, so if you're trying to teach proper grip on a pen, you've got that triangular grip right there. Some people like that with Lamy, some people hate it, but I kind of like it. It posts very nicely, securely, so that pen is not going to go anywhere. It's a very lightweight pen, so posting it really doesn't hurt whatsoever. So let's go ahead and see how this one writes. So you've got the Jinhao 995 Swan. This one has a fine steel nib. And this is actually a very smooth writer. Smooth. I was surprised. When I picked this one up after inking it and writing with it, just to make sure it wrote properly, I was like, this is decent. This right here is good. Thornton's Luxury Blue. Matter of fact, I've got a bottle of that sitting right here within arm's reach. So it was this stuff right here. So if you ever get a chance, this ink is not that bad. It's not that expensive either. That's what the bottle looks like. It's a halfway decent ink. 30 milliliter bottle, and I'm just about halfway through this bottle already because I've been using it in a lot of different pens. So as expected, you're not going to get a lot of line variation. You get a little darker line. You're not going to get very wide on this inexpensive steel nib. Don't expect to. Some people like reverse. I don't know why they would, but you've got an incredibly very thin, light line that never really amounts to anything. But this is a smooth writing pen for 99 cents. I mean, good grief, what's not worth the risk on this, And it's kind of a cute pen. So let's try this one. It's got the same steel nib. So this is also a Jinhao 995. And this one is reliable. I mean, it writes not quite as smoothly as this one. I mean, this pen right here, it writes okay. It's not scratchy, but you can tell there is a tangible difference between the two. And this one I put in the Birmingham. My writing's terrible today. Birmingham pen. See, it skips just a little bit on this particular one as well. Fred Rogers Cardigan Red. So definitely not quite as smooth as the other one. So there is a difference between them. And that's the problem with Jinhao that I have found. For instance, I give away a lot of Jinhao 992 pens. Let me just reach into my drawer right here because I'm thinking of it. I always keep some of these right here within arm's reach because I do give these away a lot. So this is a fairly brand new pen, and I can tell my cat's been around. But I give these away a lot. And so I'll fill them up. What I found with these, by the way, don't buy them from an American distributor. You know why? Because an American distributor has bought factory seconds or pens that have had problems, batches that they know were bad. I'm guessing here because every time I've bought from an American distributor, it doesn't write correctly, and I have to pull it apart, play with it, hurt my fingers, ink up my fingers pretty badly. So if you can, just order them direct from China, and you'll probably know that you've got a better quality pen than you've got if you buy from an American distributor, even though the price will be about the same when you buy them in bulk. So, but those I give away all the time. But what I found is when I buy a box of 15, some will write better than others. When I did the Shark pens, I bought a box of 12 or 15 of them so I can give them away. One would write better than the next one. So you never know the consistency between the two pens. So, like I said, this is not a bad writing pen. It's just not as good as this one. This one is actually a better writing pen than this one. Surprise! But for 99 cents, either way, you still get a decent deal. And if you wanted to order 99 cents for a giveaway pen, I mean, come on, think about it. For $1, under $1, you've got a nice giveaway pen to give somebody, whether it be a child or, let's say, if I take my family out to breakfast at Dunkin' Donuts to get some coffee and get them some donuts, then I've literally given away a bunch of those 992s and some of the Shark pens because when I go to sign the receipt after using my debit card, oh, that's a nice pen. Oh, cool, you want it? So there's a thought for you. Anyway, that's my looking at the Jinhao 995 Swan pen. I like it. It's kind of neat looking. It's a nice little novelty. It's pretty. Yes, not the most durable thing in the world, but for 99 cents you actually get a decent writing pen. Not a fan of fine nibs, but this one actually wrote very, very nicely, and I've been doing a bunch of writing with it. So I guess for 99 cents you can't go wrong on a Jinhao Swan.